Welcome to episode 36 of Cougars on Cougars. We have an absolutely jam-packed episode. It's funny how busy we found ourselves during football season, isn't it?
It really is.
So we're 1-2 now as your record update. Not the best. We have some not so happy campers. We're all not so happy campers. We're just
Nobody
all
likes losing.
Expressing it in different manners. And some of us expressed it by booing. Now, we're not going to harp on about the booing because there's plenty of discussion going on about it on Twitter. But our quote of the week does center around it, and it comes from someone rather important. We will give a shout out to Robbie for putting this on our minds. Robbie, R.T. McCombs. Shout out.
This comes from one Jeffrey R. Holland. Elder Jeffrey R. Holland, I should say.
Former president of our good university.
That's right. Current member of the 12.
Just in case you
General
forgot.
Conference is coming up, by the way.
And he said?
He said, "It bothers me that any BYU fan would boo anybody for any reason."
We didn't make that up. We didn't take it too much out of context. He was talking about a Robbie Bosco situation in 1985 when apparently Robbie Bosco was booed and BYU made the national media for it, and Elder Holland was not happy about it. And we'd be willing to bet that he probably feels the same today. And he actually went on in that speech, we'll be sure to link to it, to talk about how much Bosco had done for the organization and how it was not Christian to boo him, among other things. So if you need to come to Jesus, if you were one of the fans that was booing, there you go.
Don't boo your own team.
Period. Time for coaching from the couch after another loss, unfortunately. We are joined this week by Spencer Rosenhan, and we are grabbing him while we can because he's leaving on a mission to Peru literally in like a week, 2 weeks?
2 weeks from tomorrow.
Well,
oh boy.
Tonight you're talking about football, though.
Yes.
So we've got Coach Rosenhan, Coach Tyler, and Coach Blanchard. Let's get into it. So UCLA game, it was what was the score?
17-14 UCLA.
17-14 loss.
Yes. We are 1-2.
We are 1-2. But there are some good things that we can build on that we'll get to eventually. But let's start with what didn't go so well. And we're not going to mince words. There were kind of a lot of things that didn't go super well. But Coach Rosenhan, let's start with you. What is one thing you would say we could improve upon?
Mostly just play calling, in my opinion. It's very easy to read our offense right now. When we pass on first down, if it's an incompletion, it's always going to be a run for no gain and then a third and long. And it's hard to watch because the first half, almost every single drive was a 3-and-out versus UCLA. And
it's true.
When you're sitting up in the stands at the football game and you're watching your offense just be torn to shreds by an average Pac-12 defense, it's just hard to watch. And so I think mix up the plays a bit. Don't be afraid to try something different once in a while. Every first down doesn't have to be a pass to the outside.
Coach Tyler.
For me, it goes, I think, receivers. First of all, I mean, thanks to Ken for breaking down stats for us, but there were a lot of dropped passes. And we're going to talk to Ken next week more about that.
Yes, we are.
Out of the 22 incompletions, 7 were dropped passes. And a lot of those, were ones that were hitting receivers in their hands, that were catchable. And when you're already struggling with maybe some bad throws or with, not getting enough protection to get the pass off and all of that, it's hard to have that many dropped passes in our kind of offense.
Yeah, and 7 was more than the first 2 games combined. And I do want to give a shout out to Hunter Marshall, though. He redeemed himself with that one beautiful catch for the first down. One of our very few first downs.
Yeah, that was one thing I was going to say is I liked that play to the tight end, and I want to see more of that. And I hope we can get a solid tight end.
Tight end looks good against Arizona, so let's maybe the resurgence. That would be some variation in play calling, right?
It would be.
The slants kind of work for us. As for me, a thing to improve upon, I kind of have my list of order of blame on the offense, and first on my list is the offensive line. I think there's been a lot of qualms and talk about quarterback changes, but what could any quarterback do? What could Tom Brady do with the kind of time that Taysom had? There wasn't a gap to be found. They were just owning us with stacking the box. And I will say we were missing 3 of our starters, but I feel confident in saying that we did not rise to that occasion. We really missed Louis and Wilcox and Johnson. It wasn't good enough. Taysom did not have enough time, and neither he nor Jamal had anywhere to go. Their corners were able to press our receivers every time. It just didn't work.
Yeah, you notice all of our things are on offense. And it's so hard. In an offense, you have one guy doing the wrong thing, and everything breaks down. And that's kind of where we're at right now, it seems like. We don't have everybody clicking on all cylinders yet.
Well, we'll stop being Debbie Downers now. Well,
yeah, so what were some good things we saw? Should we start with Coach Rosenhan?
All right. The easy answer for positive anything for BYU was Butch Pau'u, and you sort of just brought that up. Every time he'd get a tackle, everyone would chant his name, going back to the good old Fooey days and anything like that. And Butch had 19 tackles, which I believe ties the BYU record.
Sure does.
And so that's obviously a huge positive when you're sticking him at linebacker just to spy on the running back. The UCLA, unlike last year where they beat us with the run and we completely shut down Josh Rosen, this year we shut down the run completely, and Josh Rosen had to make good throws to win that game.
Butch Pau'u was such a little ray of sunshine.
Coach Tyler, what went right?
Special teams, I thought, improved from last week. So Johnny Linehan's back on his game. I thought had some really good punts. Dion Lake had a really good tackle that gave him UCLA some bad field position. So Oldred got hurt. Hopefully he'll recover quickly. But Red Almond came in. Yep, he did a good job. So yeah, I thought it was good.
For me, the thing that went right, and I saw a tweet from Crazy Hoop Fanatic, which is Pat Hammond, and she said that if football games were only 2 minutes, we would win every one. So,
they're not though.
I know they're not. So our 2-minute drill was another, thing to be happy about if you want to say that. Yes, you have to consider that they were playing the prevent defense. But the point that I really wanted to make is that there's been a lot of talk about Taysom all week. A lot of it's been negative. I don't think anyone can really say that he's looked super comfortable in an entire game. He doesn't look terrible. His decision making, he's doing the best he can in the offense that he's in. But to me, when you get into the 2-minute drill, Taysom just really comes into his own. And he just feels the game better. He's in a better rhythm. What I'm saying is that 2-minute drill went well, and that I guess I would like to see our offense be maybe sped up a little.
If we could run that 2-minute drill at the end of every quarter, we would have won.
So we can score at least 4 times. Coach Rosenhan, any parting thoughts?
I'd love to see us go out and play physical against West Virginia. As far as the rest of the games that we have left, I can't remember which website, but it lists the West Virginia game as the hardest game left.
It's harder than Michigan State even.
Percent chance to win, yeah. And I believe the line has gone from 4.5 for West Virginia all the way to 7. And so it might be really good for BYU just to come in as an underdog after these last 2 weeks. A lot of people aren't going to expect a ton out of them. And I'd love to see that offense come out firing. Yeah, make a statement, come out. Just gain some quick yardage early and control the tempo of that game like they did against Arizona.
So that's what we've got. Okay, we have someone in opponent's gear. This is turning into a kind of a problem. This is Matthew Peasley. He is at the MPs, Peas, on Twitter. We'll put up his handle for you so you can give him a follow. He is a West Virginia grad. He's working for a newspaper that covers some of Ohio, some of West Virginia, you said?
Yep, and neighboring parts of Pennsylvania. So we're in this whole tri-state area up here.
Nice. So, yeah, he does sports for them, and he is an alum of West Virginia University. So, big football fan. Me and Matt know each other through, actually, the Pirates. Go Pirates, yep. Right?
Yep, raise it.
But this week we're on opposing sides of the battle.
Yeah.
So, we don't really know very much about West Virginia. We haven't had a chance to watch them play yet. So, we figured we'd talk with you and kind of get the inside scoop here. So let's just start with some basics. What would you say are the strongest points of the team you have this year and the weakest points?
Sure. Basically, West Virginia's been known recently, probably the past 5 years, as an offensive team. Offensive first, we're going to throw the ball deep and try to run it up as much as possible. That was kind of evident in the 2011 Orange Bowl when we scored 70 points on Clemson. And the year after that was WVU's first year in the Big 12. It was kind of a rude awakening because we did not carry over that same offensive mindset into the Big 12 that first year. We've been developing slowly. Our head coach, Dana Holgerson, has really been a proponent of throwing it deep and seeing what we can do with it, which is what we couldn't do last year for some reason. This year, they're definitely a pass-first team, and that's becoming our biggest strength. Our quarterback, Skylar Howard, he's been there 3 years now, and this is his time to shine. I don't want to say he's been on the hot seat because we really don't have any backups ready to take his job, but he's just been developing slowly. He was a FCS guy. He played at some small school in Texas before going to a junior college in California. So he's been at the Division I level, WVU, for the past 2 years, and he's finally coming into his own this year. He's got enough receivers to throw to. So he's averaging close to 300 yards a game passing.
Wow.
And that's what they're going to be doing on Saturday.
Oh, jeez.
The offense is clicking pretty well. He'll pass. He's got 7 receivers he could throw to. So that's the strength. That's definitely the strength of the team.
Okay, so through the air, that's the strength that we should look out for. So what would you say you're struggling with, or that's not doing as hot as you'd like it to be?
It's the defense. Like I was saying, that we were supposed to be for the past 5 years an offense-first team. We had 11 seniors on defense last year, and the defense really kept WVU in these games. Mm-hmm. But with 11 seniors, or the many seniors, they all graduated, and now we have new guys coming in this year. Our secondary's kind of depleted. Up front, we're not as strong as we have been in the past. So
it's really nice
we're gonna have trouble stopping Williams from BYU. I think if you run right at WVU, they're gonna have trouble bringing him down. But if you guys are able to throw the ball, which from what I've seen, that's not exactly the strength on your side. Well, our best defensive back, Drayvon Askew Henry. He probably would have gone to the pros after this year or the next year. He's just a sophomore, but he was hurt for the whole year. So teams have been trying to throw deep on us too, and we've had trouble stopping it. We've given up over 400 yards the past 2 games. That was to Missouri and to Youngstown State. So we better hope that we can move the ball and just let the defense kind of bend but not break against you guys. So if we can put points on the board, we should be in good hands. However, there's a lot at stake against this game. WVU and Baylor are the only 2 undefeated teams in the Big 12 now, and if we can win this game, it's obviously not a league game yet. It could be in a couple years, but if we can win this game, stay undefeated, we'd be one of the only teams still ranked in the top 25. So it's a big game for us from that aspect. But from you guys, this is kind of a audition for the Big 12.
Presumably you've heard of Taysom Hill, and you already mentioned Jamal Williams. Do you think that those are maybe the 2 players that would cause your team some problems, or are there other guys you're worried about?
Yeah, I'm worried about stopping Williams because, like I said, our defense is young. They're not really tested yet. Missouri didn't do much against us. YSU gave us a little bit of a scare late in the first half. They were actually ahead on us. I think it was 14-7 right before halftime. But luckily, we made some changes on offense and were able to score the ball more. So I think the biggest thing is if West Virginia is able to score first, get an early lead, and hold on from there, If you guys get the ball first and you're able to score on that first possession, I think that could set the tone for the rest of the game.
Well, we've had a really hard time moving the ball, so it will be really interesting to see, what happens, because we heard about how bad UCLA's defense was, but they were still able to shut us down completely. So I'm hoping your defense is as bad as you say they are. Because otherwise,
I didn't say bad. I said young and inexperienced. And
okay, fine. I won't put words in your mouth.
So who are some of your star players that we should expect to hear their name a lot?
Sure. I mentioned Skylar Howard, the quarterback, and he's a prototypical pocket passer. So if you guys can get to him,
so the opposite of Jason.
Yeah, he's not as fleet on his feet, but he has been moving pretty well. At running back, so we have Skylar Howard. He's going to throw to Dakeil Shorts is our best receiver, and Shelton Gibson is our second best receiver. Those guys are fast. So they get a lot of their yards after the catch. They're going to catch the ball, put a couple juke moves, and then take off for the end zone. Running back-wise, our top guy is a guy named Russell Shell, who was actually at Pitt before making the right decision to transfer to WVU.
Wow.
And our other running back is Justin Crawford. He is actually a junior college transfer. And if anybody's heard of the Netflix show Last Chance U, he was featured as one of the opposing teams to that Mississippi team. So he was one of the top running backs at the junior college level, and now he's one of ours. And he's had over 100 yards the past 2 games. So.
Very solid. Can't complain about that.
Yeah, like I said, offense we're pretty stacked.
Well, we'll get a score prediction from you, but before we do that, if you had to pick 2 Big 12 expansion candidates right now, of course we have to talk with you about that because you guys are in the Big 12. Who would you pick?
Well, for
you can tell us the truth.
For necessary sake, I'll say BYU. To be honest, it's a national brand. It's going to bring a lot of TV viewers, a lot of national interest, and probably more money. So thanks, Cougars. So I'll take you guys. I'd also like to see Cincinnati because what's been rough, I think WVU fits very well in the Big 12. The schools are very similar to us, size-wise, passion-wise, and all that. But WVU, we've been out on an island all by ourselves. Our closest opponent is Iowa State, and that's almost 2,000 miles away. It's just not the same as playing in the Big East with Pitt and Virginia Tech, UConn, and Cincinnati. So that's why I say Cincinnati I would love to see come in, just because it'd be closer, form a more natural rivalry with us. We have experience playing with them. If I could do a wild card, I'll say Houston, because they've obviously proven themselves this year to beat Oklahoma and can stay consistently in the top 5. So I'd be happy with 2 of those 3 teams coming in.
Want to throw a score prediction out there?
Score prediction. Like I said, I'd like to see WVU score first. And if we could score first, like I said, I think that sets the tone. We're going to score above 35 points.
Yikes.
So I'm going to say 37-24 WVU.
Okay. We'll accept it, even though we don't like it. Hey, thanks for joining us. We really appreciate the time. It is another road game this week, so it is time for another Along the Trail to Fame and Glory segment. This time, the Cougars will be on the road versus West Virginia at FedEx Field, where the Redskins play in Washington, D.C. So we have Katelin Buchanan joining us. She is very special because she is giving Jordan and I room and board when we make our way out there. And Katelin has been living in the D.C. area for 3 years, so she's totally a pro. She totally knows what's up. Katelin, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
I'm not lucky enough to go out there, but for fans that are heading out to D.C., we know you're an insider, so where are some places that they should stop and eat?
Everybody loves pizza and tacos, so I'm gonna first off hit those 2 places.
Perfect.
We the pizza there's a number of them around the place, so pretty much wherever you are, just look it up in your Google Maps, you'll be close to one. Really, really good pizza, and then they also have some specialty sodas. So a lot of different flavors, you can combine things and whatever, and they have really great sodas. And then tacos is District Taco. They're kind of street taco style. So when you make an order, you're ordering 3.
Okay.
So One order is 3 tacos,
Yeah.
and you'll be able to eat them. You're good.
Okay, cool. What else do we got?
We have Ted's Bulletin. They have like weekly, like nightly specials, but they are famous for their Pop-Tarts.
Ooh, Pop-Tarts.
Which sounds funny. Like, do they put Pop-Tarts in a toaster?
They are homemade pastries. They call them their Ted Tarts.
Which one did you say was your favorite?
Strawberry, for
Okay.
sure.
So go to Ted's Bulletin and try Ted Tarts. Is there only one location for that one?
There are 3.
Okay.
I think there's 3. I just have a couple more. Founding Farmers.
Mm-hmm.
That's in southern D.C. area, and it's a really great place to go and eat if you want, like, they have really big tables, so if you have a large group of people and you don't want to, cram into We the Pizza, they're usually smaller.
Yeah, which people probably will have large groups. And is that just like farm fresh kind of food, like burgers and salads or, okay.
Yes, yeah, all of that, and it's really good. It's a good atmosphere, really good food.
Fun.
I love all these names.
I know, it's so patriotic. And then wasn't there one more?
Yes, BTS.
Oh, yes.
The restaurant name is BTS. It's Burger, Tap, and Shakes. But they also have a shake that is called their BTS shake. It's Butterfinger, Twix, and Snickers. And
Oh my gosh.
it's my favorite.
So that's as good as it sounds then?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
We would be remiss if we didn't mention,
Georgetown Cupcakes.
as much as I hate to divulge my secret, even though it's absolutely not a secret and everyone in the
Yeah.
world knows about it.
I don't think that's a secret.
But the cupcakes are to die for.
They are. There's a million different options, and they're perfect.
But expect a line, right?
Yes. Yes. Expect a line. Just plan on some time.
What about people that are heading up there maybe with families or that are looking for something to do outside of the game?
Family-friendly areas, there's the National Zoo. It is big. It's great.
It's free.
It is free. If you are driving to it, there's parking is, I think, about $20, but you're not going to want to drive anywhere in D.C. Take a taxi if you can, or Uber, but your best friend is going to be the Metro.
The Metro is awesome. And, like, it's clean and easy to ride.
The Metro website is WMATA.
WMATA. We will link to that for sure.
Yes, do that. It shows everything. You can punch in where you want to go and where you're coming from, and it will tell you what time trains are coming. It'll map everything out for you.
So what else? I mean, there's just kind of some of the obvious stuff, right?
Oh, yeah, monuments. I mean, any monument you go to is going to be amazing. They'll have their placards. You can read all about them. There's along the way, all throughout DC, there's bikes you can rent. So if you want to, instead of walking monument to monument, you can ride bikes from place to place, and they have bike stops. You hang up your bike at a monument, and then you go and you see it, and then you go and get another one, and you could go to the next place.
And just on the National Mall, you've got the Washington Monument, the Lincoln Memorial, the World War II.
You've got Lincoln, Washington, and the Capitol. I mean, and that's the mall. And then along the way, on either side, there's museums, and there's other, like you said, the World War II, the Vietnam. I mean, there's everything along the way. As far as museums, my favorite is the National Museum. As soon as you walk in, there's a giant elephant, and there's like a butterfly room, and it's just really...
Isn't the Hope Diamond there too?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Diamonds are a girl's best friend, after all.
If you're going to leave DC, a really great place to go is Mount Vernon. Very historical. You go in and you see the house, George Washington's house, and you're looking right over at the Potomac River, and it's gorgeous. So
that is something that Jordan and I have a tour booked for. Speaking of booking tours, there are a couple things you want to book tours for, right?
Absolutely. Mount Vernon for sure.
Yeah.
If you want to visit the Capitol, definitely. What you have to do is you have to call your senator for your state, and you ask for a tour, and they'll book a time and day for you.
Just a hot tip, don't just show up at the Capitol or the White House. That's
don't just show up.
how that works, in case that's what you thought. Was there one more thing?
Yes, of course there's one more thing. The temple.
BYU fans might want to check out the temple.
Yes. It's amazing. It is absolutely beautiful.
And the grounds are really nice, really big, and it's one of the biggest visitor centers too, isn't it?
Yes, they actually have a 3D model of the temple in the visitor center.
Oh, cool. And their reflection pool is so pretty. And I think they do have a couple of things going on at the visitor center that Sunday evening, the weekend of the game. So good to check out. Well, I think that's plenty to fill a few days, plenty to eat, plenty to do. So thank you so much for coming on. And if you do these things, make sure you tweet us pictures.
Talk the Town is pretty short this week because there has been a lot going on, but yeah, we're going to keep this brief. So first thing up is that Jimmer Fredette made it to China. Whitney Fredette, his wife, tweeted out this week that the first words out of Jimmer's mouth on the phone tonight to Whitney were, "Whitney, you'll be fine in China. There's a Dairy Queen right by our apartment."
They do eat ice cream a lot, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, hey, Dairy Queen's in China. I didn't know that.
Now you know.
So.
Also, she posted on Instagram this really cute picture of him saying goodbye to their dog because their dog can't go to China. So that's kind of sad. Also in basketball news, Christian Pau'u made his official visit to BYU this weekend, along with Colby Lee and Braden Carlson. And Christian Pau'u just said that it was really cool to meet a bunch of people. So there he is. There's Dave Rose and Kalani Sitake in that photo. And one with Kevin Worthen, some
on the Sports Nation set.
On the Sports Nation set. So it looks like he had a good time. And as Steve said, hopefully the Comets, who are Colby Lee and Christian Pau'u, convince Braden Carlson to come along.
I hope so. I saw them all at the football game on Saturday. It looked like they're all having a good time. So.
Yes, and we're less than a month. No, not yet. We're almost a month away to Cougar tip-off. It's coming.
I'm so excited. Okay. If you missed it, hopefully not, but there was an article that was done on Campus Rush, which is part of Sports Illustrated, about the Juergens brothers.
So good.
Yeah, so the author does a series of articles about walk-ons. So if you didn't know, the Juergens brothers both walked on twice, basically. Once before their missions, once after. And they're both on scholarship now.
It's true. It's just the sweetest story, and they're the most deserving boys, and there are the most adorable pictures of them. And we just wanted to give them a shout-out. We harped on a lot of things that went wrong in Coaching from the Couch. The Juergens brothers were not one of those things. That play where Garrett fought so hard for the ball when we had fumbled it, and he came up fighting with that UCLA guy and won it. They were both in on the onside kick. Mitch gave it his all, especially when he got the wind knocked out of him so hard with that one hit. Yeah. Just Juergens brothers, we love you. A couple more notes speaking to our fickle fans. And we're not generalizing all of you, but we all know there are some out there.
Yeah, we just appreciated this tweet from Harvey Lange, who said, "We love playing at home. We love playing for you. Just love us. In the good times and the bad times, there isn't room for negative vibes."
It made me sad. It made us both sad that he had to say, "Just love us."
We do love you.
We do. You don't have to tell us, Harvey. And then the other note, also speaking to negative vibes, which apparently Louis had a Facebook post, Harvey had a tweet, Jamal was retweeting some stuff. Some of the players are feeling some of the negativity, so stop it. But Tanner said, "This is a team game. I'm 100% behind this team. No room for negativity." So stop your grumbling. How many times do we have to tell people to stop their grumblings and that there's no quarterback controversy, there's no locker room controversy?
They'll get it fixed, and we'll win more games. So yes. I'm really not that worried about it.
Yes. So if Tanner can support Taysom and the team, then you can support Taysom and the team. We believe in you. As for what's next, we are on our way to the East Coast. We play West Virginia at FedEx Field, which is where the Redskins play. It will be really cool to play in another NFL venue. That's in Landover, Maryland. It will be at 1:30 p.m. in Utah, 3:30 p.m. in Washington, D.C. on ESPN2, and wear white if you're going, and find me and say hi.
I will look for you on TV.
I'll say hi to you when I get back.
I will be sad. We are sponsored this week by Butch Bring the Pain Pau'u, who's third in the nation for tackles, if you didn't know. He's amazing. He's playing great.
Seriously. And our second sponsor is Dennis Pitta, not for his great hair this time, but for his 9 catches for 102 yards that he had on Sunday.
And his great hair.
And his great hair. All right. May you always stay loyal to the white and blue. For Jess, I'm Mary. We'll see you next week.